Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch Juricich, and welcome to the Super Bowl special of Hooked on the Niners.
And I'm Mark Naismith. We'll take a look at a great win in the NFC Championship game that propelled the 49ers to the...
Propelled them. Propelled them. I get to say the famous words, Super Bowl. Yes. And I'm Jerry Walker, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And to celebrate our Super Bowl special, we've brought in a balloon, and we brought back Terrell Jones. Hey. We got more balloons, hats. This is a real festive... Where were you, by the way?
I was in Kona.
You were in Kona.
Working
okay.
on my tan.
You've taken some shots at them. I'm going to give them a chance to take a shot at you when we come back right here on Hooked on the Niners.
Hooked on the Niners is brought to you by
Bay 101 Casino, located at 1801 Bering Drive in San Jose. They can be reached at 408-451-8888 or on the web at bay101.com. Since 1994, Bay 101 Casino.
Badges Cafe. Badges Cafe is located in the heart of Mountain View at 2423 Old Middlefield Way. You can reach Badges Cafe at 650-967-7477 or on the web at www.badges.com. Go Niners! College Plaza Shell. College Plaza Shell, located at 1400 West Hillsdale Boulevard in San Mateo, providing automotive service since 1987. You can reach College Plaza Shell at 650-573-7959. That's 650-573-7959.
Psst. Hey, need some video work done? We can do that. We do all that video stuff. We can even put your video on that internet thingy. At Peninsula TV, we do full-blown in-studio production, talk shows, performances, speeches, anything. Remote multi-camera production, on location, at your event. And for the budget-minded, single camcorder production in high definition. We'll take your video project from first idea to finished product. For more info, contact Peninsula TV.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners, and I don't see that the light's on that camera, so we're just going to assume that it's going to be on. A fun week, Super Bowl week. This is just electric, full charge, so on and so forth. But before we go any further, as I said when we went to the tees, now he picked on you saying you were getting an upper GI and you were at a nudist colony. Where was he? He wasn't in Hawaii. Where was he?
We're bigger than that.
Okay, so you don't want where they let you out of hammered you.
Yeah.
I would have hammered.
I was expecting it. Come on, guys.
He wants to go back to his little grass shack.
Before we go any farther, this is a Say the Secret Word show this week. If any of the guys say the secret word during the course of the show, they're going to get this envelope full of money and a ticket to you know what.
Look how thin that envelope is.
I know.
Do you want the envelope or not? If you say the secret word, you want it. Okay.
A.J. Jenkins.
Oh, no, it's not even close.
Propel, wasn't it?
Propel, wasn't it? All right, enough of the stupid stuff. Let's get back to the 49ers winning in Atlanta. Raise your hand if at 17-0 you were worried.
Oh, are you kidding me?
God, just you and me, Dub.
I wasn't for a couple reasons.
I don't know why, and I just kept delving into it, and I think it's because of Kaepernick.
Well, it wasn't because of Kaepernick in my mind at that point. I just thought back to my years with the Niners. When we were down, if we were down and playing well, it was scary.
Yeah.
If we were down but only had the ball for 2 possessions, 6 downs, or not playing well at all, then it's like, what the heck? We play our normal game. We can come back on this team.
Okay.
Well,
I was not worried at that point.
You were?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I think if emotionally, when I looked at it, being down that quick and seeing what they were doing with their passing game, which we were all nervous about.
Right.
Yeah, I was nervous. I mean, objectively, if I could have been there, you could have thought about what happened the week before against the Seahawks, right? Where they're up 20-0. And I think some of the announcers suggested that they were started to play not to lose and play conservatively. And I think that's what got them. And they started to make a few mistakes, and that was that.
Now, you were in Hawaii, so you were like your 12th Mai Tai. You didn't give a damn, probably at that point.
20th.
Okay. But you still knew the score?
I was floating in Mai Tai.
My new hero. My new hero.
No, I mean, I was, like you, I was worried because I saw how the offense was, they were playing, the Falcons were. But my key was Mike Nolan, because I thought Mike Nolan would have a chip on his shoulder and that he would have this great defensive scheme, which I think he did.
Yes, I do too.
But you know what hurt them? Missed tackling. They look like this is the first time they've ever been out there, tackling.
Missed tackling, and once they got their big lead, they eased off a little bit on the passing and started running the ball, trying to kill more clock.
Right.
And it was like, wow, that passing was what got them there.
Play not to lose.
Well, one of the things that struck me was when Julio Jones scored his touchdown against Terrell Brown. You can't ask for a defensive back to be in a better position.
But what a great catch.
And throw. And
unbelievable.
The feet, I mean,
yeah, exactly. He looked like a ballerina, didn't he?
And absolutely he did. And that's when a big ballerina.
Yeah, exactly. With dreads.
With dreads, yeah. But you realize the other team has great players too, and they're going to make some great plays. But there was just a little concern, I would imagine, for the number of passes that were thrown over the middle that were just wide open.
Oh yeah, Tony Gonzalez
almost
ate
all
them.
day.
He ate them up.
Yeah,
he really did.
He really did. And when they came back and got a touchdown before the first half, I thought was pretty critical.
Yes.
On that drive, and they had some of the best drives of the year in that game, especially to start the second half.
And they sort of slowly snuck up on them.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, okay, we got to do something right now. It was like, okay, that series didn't work. This series does. Okay, that series didn't work. This series does. And it was kind of fun. It was exciting.
To me, that was one of the most resilient performances I've ever seen. I mean, because they got a lot of kick in the groins on that game.
Yeah.
Not only being down 17-0, the Crabtree fumble on the 1-inch line was just a killer, and David Akers missing again from 38. I mean, they were just like.
Right.
Stomach ache after stomach ache, and they just kept hitching their pants up and coming back. And I thought they were just so unbelievably well prepared for this game with using Davis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Breaking him out into the passing game, which obviously worked against them the week before, and really taking advantage of the fact that Seattle was closing off that end run with Kaepernick. Both touchdowns came right inside with Gore and with LaMichael James on that option read. And they just hung in there and won the game.
But sorry, Jerry, but it tells you how important film study is too, because if you saw the Seattle game the week before, Seattle did the same thing with their tight ends.
Oh, yeah, there was never anybody from the other team in the screen when he was making catches.
Exactly, and so so they saw that, and what a perfect time to unleash Vernon.
Yeah,
say Vernon, go wild.
Now you talk about were you nervous at 17-0? I wasn't, but were you nervous in the last drive? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
My stomach was churning.
I think I sent out an email. I didn't think at this advanced age that I could get nervous at a game anymore. I just thought, boy, that's not true.
You're right.
That is not true.
You had a pulse,
huh?
You had a pulse?
Yeah, and there was a bottle of something that got opened up right after that. Can't even remember what the hell it was. But to what extent do you think, I mean, you obviously PR director on the coaching staff for the Niners also, what extent do you think coaching plays, it's probably a statement of the obvious, to what he said? They kept getting all these body blows and coming back. I mean, a lot of teams just go, that's it. We're done.
Well, look at it this way. They were up 17-0.
Yeah.
Okay. It could have been a lot worse. And that's something I think the coaches kept telling them, look, it's only 17-0. It's only 17-0. All we need is one stop here, one stop there.
Yeah.
Keep pushing. It's like when we played the Giants in the playoff games. We were down a lot at halftime.
Oh yeah. And you were more than a lot.
Exactly. And everybody's, and the funny story is that after we won, Mariucci said to us, he said, okay, I want everybody to tell us what you were thinking at halftime. But Jeremy Newberry and Jeff Garcia and the coaching staff says, hey, we can win this thing. Come back. Just keep focused. And I think that's the same thing that the Niners did on, against the Falcons.
That's my point earlier is we're not playing the way we can play.
Right.
If we were playing to our best and we're down 17-0, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're not playing well. We start playing well, we can get these guys.
Right, absolutely.
And plus, you have to give Michael Crabtree a lot of credit.
I mean, besides the fumble,
right?
With everything that was going on in the back of his mind, with that so-called charge, that sits on your mind. And he played well.
Sure it does.
He played very well.
He did. Now, somebody mentioned film study. Who was that? You were film study. Okay.
I mentioned
no. Paid off for Navarro Bowman. Said
definitely.
that he saw watching film that when Roddy White lined up in the slot, he always went over the middle, and he just bet that he was going to do it and knock down that ball. Now, could that have been pass interference?
Yeah. Not the way they were calling it the whole game.
That's it was, and thank God we didn't have those other high school officials. Well, no, why did I even bring that up? I mean, that was just so long ago. Anyhow, great win for the 49ers.
Fantastic win.
The resiliency, Kaepernick just growing by leaps and bounds.
Oh yeah.
I don't, and it looks like Justin Smith might not be 100%, but he's 90%. And I'll take 90% of him.
Exactly.
90% any day of the week.
And the other thing we didn't talk about that seems so impossibly difficult
what could
down
we
there
have possibly missed, Mark?
is the noise. Every play seemed to be an audible or a change on Kaepernick's part, and to maintain the composure to run the team like that. They had some mistakes. They had a couple of a delay of games, which maybe you expected, but to control their patience, especially him in that environment, was pretty magnificent.
It got quiet later in the game.
Exactly.
It got quiet later in the game. Yeah. And we didn't get away from Frank Gore running the ball.
No.
It became obvious to them, wasn't obvious to me until I saw it later, that Atlanta just wasn't going to let Kaepernick go outside. No. So he gave it to Gore and LaMichael James.
Yeah.
Basically the same play on both touchdowns, right?
Basically the same. They were almost identical. There's no question about it. Yep. All right, there was another game that happened that same day, Baltimore and New England.
Yes, there was.
Which, the first thing I would say is, if you're going to have a game on the East Coast and one on the West Coast, why don't you let them start on the East Coast early and us late? Better weather for them,
And if one's going to be indoors.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Right.
But we didn't have to play in that, so it's all right with me.
Right. Okay. So Baltimore, New England. The only surprise there to me, and I'm going to bite my lip pretty hard here, it was the first time when I thought I saw, Tom is not 23 years old anymore. I'm going to put it that way. A couple of times running, looking back to see who's chasing him. But Baltimore just rose to the occasion, I think, and played pretty good defensively.
Yeah, but again, too, I mean, I'll give Baltimore a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I'll give them tons of credit. But I was watching the receivers for New England.
Yeah.
Besides Wes Welker, I don't think anybody else really showed up. It looks like they were running wrong routes. There was like a lot of miscommunication.
Even Wes dropped a couple.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about Superbowl, when he did that as well.
Right.
So it seems like they were off, and that is the wrong time of the year to be off.
Right.
So.
Well, that could have something to do with that weather too.
It's probably
the starting time and getting hit by that defense.
They're playing at home.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
That defense. Who wants to get hit by that defense?
Ooh. Is Joe Flacco making the leap into the next?
Yes.
Is he up there with Breeze, the Mannings, and Brady?
No.
No.
He's on the outside, knocking on the door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a win in this game would probably put him right up there.
Oh, yeah.
Which he won't catch.
Eight touchdowns and no interceptions, and
it's
most
very
yards.
Joe Montana-like, isn't it?
Well, most games he's won on the road.
Right, 7 games
by a quarterback. So,
but maybe he's not quite at the elite level, but people talking even as early this year is that the only way Baltimore can win is with their defense. Maloney.
Yeah,
he's turned into a very credible quarterback who throws a lot of good balls, short and long. He's playing with astounding confidence. You got to think he's got the hottest hand of anybody in the league right now, and now he's in the Super Bowl.
Even more than Kaepernick?
Well, I would think so right now, but it's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
I think you're going to see a lot of parity in this game, and that's
every
one
once
of them.
in a while lays an egg.
Yeah.
He really, and he lays most of those on the road, which he is, now. One last thing. Do you buy into this? They're playing for Ray Lewis.
You had to bring that name up.
Yeah.
I was hoping we would get through the show without bringing that name up.
Yeah.
They got to be playing for him a little bit.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it. He's an inspirational leader on that team. The people I know in that organization absolutely love that guy you just mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a huge fan, but he is a great football player. There's no question. All right. Nobody said the secret word, so we've got
continues, right?
Yeah, it continues. A couple of. Jeez, do you need the money?
No.
Does that envelope get thicker?
I know.
I was going to say the one thing that we didn't mention about the Niners game.
Yeah, we got about 10 seconds.
Is this a secret word?
Patrick Willis.
Yeah.
12 tackles.
Absolutely.
11 solo.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about prepping for the Super Bowl. tickets, rooms, and all that stuff from a guy that's got some experience right here on Hooked on the Niners.
You got to give us a hint a little bit about, like it's...
Brought to you in part by Barati & Karad, CPAs, providing income tax and accounting services to individuals and the business community since 1986. Located at 1100 Larkspur Landing Circle in Larkspur. They can be reached at 415-461-8500 or on the web at www.pccpas.com. Let's go Niners! Woodmont Real Estate Services, a friend to the community since 1963. Woodmont Real Estate Services is located at 1050 Ralston Avenue in Belmont, California, and can be reached at 650-592-3960 or at www.wres.com. Vivace Ristorante. Vivace Ristorante is located in the heart of Belmont at 1910 Ralston Avenue. They can be reached at 650-637-0611. That's 650-637-0611 or on the web at www.vivacerestaurant.com. Gando Design. For 25 years, Gando Design is located in Redwood City. Their website is gandodesign.com/specials. Gando Design, a proud sponsor of Hooked on the Niners. Peninsula TV is now live streamed on the internet. Watch us from anywhere you have an internet connection, on cable, on the net, and on that fancy mobile device. Just go to pentv.tv.
Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. Before we get into prepping for the Super Bowl, remember this is our Say the Secret Word show. There's some money and a ticket to you-know-what.
Wow.
Somebody says this word. All right, prepping for the Super Bowl.
Bill Walsh.
He's just going to start throwing out words. I just know it. All right, who has been to a Super Bowl?
Wow.
Oh, you said A.
Who's been to more than one Super Bowl?
10 of them?
Mark, you've never been. Do you have any desire
Sure,
to
absolutely.
go? Say the secret word.
Absolutely.
Well,
no. Super Bowl. I've never been to a Super Bowl. That's many words.
Okay. And why?
Well, I mean, it's a spectacle event. I mean, I think that sports bucket list would be fun to go to, seeing a World Series game, seeing, going to the Indy 5, whatever they are, Kentucky Derby. I've been to none of them, basically.
Yeah, basically, the couple that I've been to, one I was a guest of a Niner player, and the other one, my wife had gotten this deal where you flew in the day of.
So you're a guest of your wife.
Yeah, right. I've never paid for a damn thing at a Super Bowl.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, okay. He will not get the secret word. But there's a lot that you got to do, even if you're just going to fly for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, even people now that are scrambling to get tickets and hotels, and I know some people that for New Orleans have stayed in Mississippi and have driven in. I mean, there's all these kinds of things, but I can't imagine what it's like for a team to go, Jerry, and you did that 4 times.
It's craziness. You pick up your whole office and take the entire office and set up a new office in that city, and it's crazy, and it's stressful, and it's long hours. And that's just the behind-the-scenes people. That's not the players. It's an event.
How many people do you send to advance this?
Well, back in the day, I don't know how many they're sending this time, but back in the day, we sent about a 6-person contingent the week before the Super Bowl. Now, one Super Bowl we had was right out here.
Would that be 2 weeks before?
That would be 2 weeks before the Super Bowl.
Just for you following along at home, not wondering what this language is we're speaking.
People think Super Bowl week is the week of the Super Bowl.
Right.
Well, for those teams in the game, it starts the week before that. There have been 49er personnel in the city of New Orleans since before that Atlanta game. Right.
And what about, from the coaching standpoint, how in the world do you propel all that stuff down to New Orleans?
Well, and I've never been to a Super Bowl officially, but we were preparing when we lost to the Packers in the NFC Championship game.
Right.
And you just look at, and like Jerry says, you basically pick up your whole office. You take your books, so being a strength coach, we had to find a different location.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. How do you arrange for, like, the 49ers flew in on Sunday, and Justin Smith says, I feel the need to push around some steel, and he comes to you.
So what we did is we looked at Tulane.
Okay.
Tulane was right there.
Okay.
And we contacted them,
But what if Baltimore already got Tulane?
No, we got that.
Okay, okay.
But there's always some place you can go, and that's why you have people like Jerry and I think Dave Ron, who knows
Rodney Knox.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows, where we can go, what we can do, and they make calls right away.
Yeah.
So and I'm sorry, and then Dave Ron came to me and says, I need a list of things that you may need while you're there.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
So the league assigns the hotel, and then
it does.
Yeah. Like
so that's what I was going to say. If you're, excuse me for interrupting, but 3 weeks into this, and it looks like you might go to the Super Bowl, the team doesn't have to contact the league's on the hook for those tickets.
What the team does, that
makes sense.
It backs way up to the start of the season. Like, going into next year already, what AFC or NFC, which hotels they're assigned, NFC, AFC, which practice facilities they're assigned, and so then you start preparing beyond that. Like, we know the 49ers are working at the Saints facility, but what if we need a place at 4 in the morning for a guy to go work out?
Right.
So you know what health clubs are around or what colleges are around.
Exactly.
The University of New Orleans might have something available. Tulane might have something available.
Did you know all this stuff?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Tulane Green Wave. Is that it?
That's right. That's it. That's not the secret word. New Orleans privateers. No, that's not the secret word. So you also have, where was I going with
Crescent
that?
City.
The Crescent City, that's not it either. Pat O'Brien's, no. Bourbon Street.
Edwin Edwards. Okay.
Jackson Square. St. Louis Cathedral. So you prepare for everything. Now you need an overflow hotel because you don't have enough rooms in that league assigned hotel, so you need an overflow hotel 1 or 2. And the last time we played New Orleans, and won a Super Bowl. We also ended up using one of those cruise ships, one of the river ships, riverboats.
Riverboats.
As overflow because we had that many people that needed to be taken care of.
That absolutely amazes me. So then if I'm hearing this correctly, it's the league that's on the hook for all those rooms. They're going to buy them anyway, no matter who goes.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
And they buy more than just for the 2 hotels. They book hotels. You need a team. You need an NFL headquarters for the media to stay.
Right.
You need press conference rooms. You need Radio Row. It's unbelievable.
So this thing must cost like $80,000 or $90,000.
Back in 1929, probably. But
What are you insinuating? No, this has to be multi-millions of dollars.
That's why cities want to host it. Now, my opinion, it should be in the New Orleans every year. It should be in the Super Bowl.
Do you know where if I was a hotel, I would want to be the media hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Because your bar would make a ton of money. Well, it's a great experience, and I enjoyed the ones that I went to, and it's just, we see so much that's out in front, the superficial stuff. It's the behind-the-scenes stuff that is just amazing to me. Well, just like tickets for players.
Oh, well, here's the one thing that you have to learn. Players and coaches and staff members, they have to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine how many phone calls you got.
Yeah.
For the 4.
Yeah.
Not even for that. Yeah. For friends and family. When people thought when people thought we were going.
Yeah.
I got calls from people from elementary school that I hadn't talked to in years.
Right.
Who are you?
My line used to be, I'm so glad to hear from you, Terrell. I'm getting all these idiots calling me for tickets. I know you're just calling to say hi.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Hello, Terrell?
Hello? Right, exactly. And you never knew that your kindergarten class was so big when you
I've even gotten
school.
Requests this year for tickets, for rooms.
I've got calls too.
Yeah. Well,
Emails?
I mean, just if you want to see how far down this goes, just because we do this, think that you've got them coming out of your ears.
Oh yeah.
The ticket is not necessarily the game. The ticket is the commissioner's party.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Those things are worth a fortune.
But
is the media circus still ridiculous? I mean, it must be impossible to control. Trying to stay focused for that game and the demands of having 58 microphones in your face.
But think about it now. Nowadays, you have social media. You have the Facebooks. You have the Twitters. You have all that stuff.
Yeah.
So now, you take it probably when Jerry was there. Multiply that by 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Or more.
It must be so hard to stay focused. I mean, on the job at hand.
But Jerry's first Super Bowl. Can you imagine all the tin cans and string that they were using?
Jerry's first Super Bowl, we put Joe Montana behind a desk in our hotel in a ballroom. Put Joe behind a desk. All the other players were out freestanding.
Yeah.
Joe was behind a desk because we thought we might get a few media types.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It really is.
When you're talking about players being focused, and I'll give them 3 names why you should stay focused. Stanley Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Barrett Robbins.
Yeah.
And Eugene Robinson.
Yep.
Think about
that's
those
the big 3.
Yeah.
That's the Mount Rushmore of foul-ups in
Exactly.
NFL history.
Remember Marvin Washington? So Marvin played with us.
Excuse me for interrupting. I need a 4th for Mount Rushmore, don't I? Okay, go ahead. I interrupted.
But Marvin Washington played with us in '97, and then he went to play for Denver when they went to the Super Bowl the second time.
Yeah.
He told me that he walked up to Eugene Robinson before the game, looked in his eyes, and they said, "We've got this." This
Really?
guy was not focused. He was their team leader because he went out for the whole prostitution deal. They said it was over with.
Yeah.
So
that's it's sad. To me, the real sad part about this whole thing is, as I look in the newspapers and whatnot, the price of tickets for the average fan. I mean, I'm going to paint with a broad brush here. If there's 80,000 seats in the Superdome, 50,000 go to the NFL. I'm painting with a broad brush there, and then a small portion goes out to like 49er fans. I imagine the Niners maybe had 10,000 tickets at the most.
Yeah, every team in the league, whether you're in the game or not, you get a small percentage.
Yeah.
The league gets the biggest portion, obviously.
Right.
And then if you're playing in it, you get a bonus portion.
Right.
But it's nowhere near. It's a percentage of our season ticket holders.
Well, and I don't mind. Let's just say again, painting with a broad brush. If your tickets to the Niner game are $100. I don't mind paying $300 or $400 for a ticket to the game. Now they're in the thousands.
Well, face value, they're in the thousands.
They're in the that's what I mean.
Yeah, not even before you get to Ticketron or
or something like that.
Yes.
And then the airfares, where you would normally fly to New Orleans for, $800 or something.
Right.
Now it's $3,000 to get there, and you're
thinking about the hotel.
Yeah.
You got to fly into Baton Rouge and then drive down game day, or fly into Gulfport, Mississippi.
Right. Well, I remember when my wife and I went, we said, our kids they'll get a scholarship to college. And we just said, the hell with it. I mean, they're on their own. I mean, we earn this. But it is a special time. It's a special treat. There's no question about it. And the hype, the machine it has become. Just look at now. I look at little things like the NFL Network really flexed its muscles because they are right there in the place.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of these other places are out on the river ships, as you called it, and whatnot. And it's a huge deal. Like today, they really start their in-depth Super Bowl coverage on the NFL Network. It's all day. And as soon as we finish this, guess where I'm going? Home to watch all that stuff.
I'm taping it right now. You know what's interesting is if it were just a regular Super Bowl without the 49ers in it, it would be interesting. But when your team is in it, it's hard to turn away from the television.
It is. It is. I mean, I got all excited. I heard the guy say the 49ers are arriving. And I called my wife. Honey, the 49ers are getting off the plane.
I would say to any fan, if you have a chance to go, even if you can't go to the game, but just go down for the experience alone.
Yeah.
It is so much fun.
The parties and the
the NFL does a great job of setting up, exhibitions and where you can do some inner live stuff with players. It's absolutely fantastic.
And there's celebrities everywhere.
Yep. And you see them in different states of sobriety.
It'd be Louisiana, usually.
Yeah, exactly.
Louisiana. That'd be the only state.
It's the only.
That's Louisiana? Is that the secret? No.
Huey
Long.
Here's the only. That's a good one. I got another one, but we're not going to say
what have I started? I apologize.
Governor Edwards, don't say that.
I said that.
So the thing that made me mad so far in the coverage I've seen, if I saw it correctly, when the Niners won their Super Bowl in New Orleans, this is the ring from it. Cap was 2 years old.
Oh, jeez, that's what a way to end this segment. All right, when we come back, you wonder how this team got built? Well, we're going to let you know. Mark's done some fabulous homework, and nobody has said the secret word. We'll be back on Hooked on the Night.
Hooked on the Niners is brought to you in part by Old County Custom Framing, located at 1339 Old County Road in Belmont. You can reach Old County Custom Framing at 650-596-2767. That's 650-596-2767. Go Niners! California Catering Company of San Mateo, proudly serving our community at 233 West 20th Avenue in San Mateo. California Catering can be reached at 650-345-4811 extension 1. The San Mateo Credit Union, serving San Mateo County for over 60 years. They can be reached at 650-363-1725. That's 650-363-1725. Or on the web at www.smcu.org. San Mateo Credit Union.
Hey guys, Will Durst here for my good friends, acquaintances at Penn TV, the place for what's happening in San Mateo County, and lots more too. Visit Penn TV on your local cable TV provider, or live on the web at www.penntv.tv. Hey, they do good stuff.
All right, welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. Nobody has said the secret word, so we'll carry it over to this segment here.
Hurricane.
They're not going to get, see.
Santa Claus.
Yeah. What'd you mean by that?
Whoa, a little thin-skinned today, aren't we?
All right, we said we were going to talk a little bit about how this team was constructed, was put together, and I guess right off the top you have to give some credit to Dick Nolan. And a little.
Mike Nolan?
What did I say?
He's correct.
Yeah.
You have to give credit to Dick Nolan.
Because he created Mike Nolan.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. We go way back here. Mike Nolan and Mike Singletary as well.
Made some good picks.
And McLuhan, who was the GM. They did a good job. Mm-hmm. Mark, I know you've set up some slides on this, and I'll let you call for them.
So let's take a peek at the first one there.
The first one.
I think how that offense has been put together, and there's probably two pieces, but.
Kaepernick. Look at all the draftees.
And that gets down to how far? I can't see if my bad eyes.
It goes to
Let's start at the top. We'll move
Mario Manningham.
Okay, so clearly this offensive team has been built with a number of high draft picks, and we'll probably see that on the second slide as we scroll through. But they've drafted to where every great NFL team needs to draft high, and that's their offensive line. Sitting there with 3 first-round picks. And also making an incredibly strong pick of Alex Boone, who a lot of people thought could have been a very high draft pick, got into some problems. But clearly the offense has been built around some very clever maneuvering of drafting, signing some high-impact free agents, and also maybe a little luck, getting a guy like Bruce Miller and converting him from a defensive player into a very integral part of this, and of course Kaepernick right on top of the pile, a guy who was a little questionable coming out of college for a lot of reasons, maybe the level at which he played and some of his mechanics, and obviously they know what they're doing, don't they? So this offense has been built very powerfully.
Do we know if Jonathan Goodwin was a first-round pick? I think he was.
I don't think so.
I think he was.
I don't think he was.
You don't think so?
No.
I say 2-1. I think he was.
Okay, let's say he was.
Yeah.
And let's say Boone, who should have been a first-round pick and then kind of messed up, would have been. That would be all 5 guys first-round picks.
No, you're absolutely right. And you were talking about who should have been first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Gore, if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Frank Gore, if he doesn't get hurt. Terrell Brown had a little off-field problem that was not his fault. He was going to be a high first-round pick too.
Right.
So there's lots of first-round picks in there, but it's the mixing and matching. And I think I'm going to go to you on this, Jerry. It's knowing how do I put your kind of player.
Yeah.
Who was your guy? Bill was big on what guys did in other sports, wasn't he?
Yes.
Exactly.
Didn't he like athletes?
And Bill used to put the team around the play. Most people put the team around the plays. Bill would put the plays around the team. Mm-hmm. If we had this talent, we'd use this as a strength.
Right.
If we had that talent, we'd use that as a strength. Like, you don't put square pegs in the round holes.
Yeah.
Right.
Bill Walsh, is that a secret word?
Yeah. No.
Vince Lombardi.
Oh, God. This is the last time you'll ever see the secret word on the show. And we should say that we always refer to Bill like he's an act in Vegas that only needs one name, Cher, Frank, Sammy. We're talking, of course, about Bill Walsh, but there's only one Bill in San Francisco.
Well, the other thing that resonates, too, how they built the offense, and then maybe we should move along, is they had invested some pretty high draft picks in some offensive linemen before, right?
Right.
Adam Snyder, Quaim Harris, David Boss, who might have been the starter on this team had he not gone.
Right.
And a couple of them didn't pan out, and they, instead of kind of saying, oh, my goodness, we're going to go hire a bunch of free agents or whatever the right word is, they redrafted.
Right.
And they've really invested in this line, and it's the strength of this offense.
Right.
And here's the thing when you said that they didn't go after free agents. the hardest thing to do is to find good offensive linemen and bring them in as free agents. And the reason why is because everybody wants them.
Right.
You know, they're such a commodity. And so people are going to try to outbid you. You know, and it takes, you know, the organization, the scheme, you know, the coaches, you know, in order for you to lure a good offensive lineman in.
To what extent do you think you have to have the nerve to take offensive linemen in the first round? Because it's not sexy, it's not going to sell newspapers or seats. It's much easier to hang around for a Rashawn Woods or somebody like that.
That's not the magic word.
No. That is not the magic word.
If that was, keep the money.
But you know what I mean? Like the year they took Anthony Davis and Mike Iupati, you know, that's folks at home are just kind of going, okay, I guess we'll see the benefits of that down the road sometime.
Right.
You're not going to see it in the end zone.
You have to believe. You have to believe.
Yeah.
And that's actually the thing probably that Mark led off telling us is they believed.
Yeah.
They started the right way. They kept on course.
Yeah.
They didn't let other people say, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They have an idea in mind, and they've stuck to it.
How many people do you think that are out there looking at us now? Raise your hands. That when they took Aldon Smith, you said, oh, what? Come on, get your hands up. There should be a few more than that. But they saw what they wanted, you know, a long-arm guy that can rush the quarterback.
Let's go on to that defense.
Let's go to the defense. Put up the defensive slide. So there's a guy that brought in a lot of ability. You know, the first year they brought him along slowly. He only played about 40 or 50% of the plays. Now he's playing 90% of the plays, Mark. So that's a good group.
So the defensive side of the ball is kind of a different picture. Some nice draft picks. Obviously, Aldon Smith and Patrick Willis were pretty strong.
Navarro Bowman
and Bowman a little bit lower down. But the other thing you see with the 49er defense is some great free agent signings. Justin Smith, Carlos Rogers, and Dante Whitner, all free agents. All of them are indeed first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
So this defense has been built with a little more connective tissue than the offensive in bringing in different parts, and it's very good. They've got some guys that may be a little farther down, not too far down, but Isaac Sopoaga, Ray McDonald, maybe, who've really emerged as very good players, and certainly Deshaun Gulston in the same category. And then we've talked a lot, and you've talked a lot about Terrell Brown, who also kind of in the Alex Boone category, maybe would have been a much higher pick, but had some bumps along the road and has turned into a shutdown corner, or pretty close to it, in my opinion.
You know, when you kind of think about it, and I don't have a roster here in front of me, there's a lot of number ones on this team, and not that many guys that were taken after, let's say, round 3 or 4. Not many for a team. There's lots of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s on this team. Like you mentioned, one, Deshaun Goldson. You know, I think he was a third-round pick. Four. So, I mean, look at the damage you can do in round 4.
Well, and that's one thing that Coach Walsh loved to do, is he liked to stack up those draft picks from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and so on and so forth. And plus, he was also very good at finding those undrafted free agents who were going to come in and contribute to the team. You know,
it's funny you should say that. I just I've started on my little stuff for our website, hookedontheniners.com, for the draft, and the 49ers are in really good position. They have a 1, a 2, 2 3s, a 4, and then 2 5s, 2 6s, 2 7s.
Wow.
So they're well positioned to do some maneuvering in that draft, because they are at the and this is maybe fodder for another time. They're in a position to start taking best athletes available. There's a couple of little spots, like maybe the defensive line, maybe in the secondary, where they kind of address it. But I think they're in good shape now because of what they've done here in the past.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have one more slide to take a peek at here, and that's these are the 22 guys who trot out there as starters, but there's a lot of other important cogs to this team. You know, Andy Lee obviously is a pivotal player to this, and then a number of role players who have stepped in during the year. Younger guys, Kendall Hunter has certainly shown up as a credible player. Michael James has emerged on the season during this season.
Kilgore is the guy that gets it. I love when he gets into the game, because it's a run, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing we've talked about, and then we can kick this around a little bit, is just the incredible influence of the management team that's been brought together here. The coaching staff, the president, who I think is doing a nice job, and the general manager, and they've got to get a majority of the credit for obviously taking people that were picked before them, adding their own sauce to the mixture, and coming up with a very formidable football team.
Well, and you're absolutely right, because you look at a guy like, look at Trent Baalke, okay? He's going through the list and says, okay, we need another running back. They said, well, DeMarco Murray's there, but then there's Kendall Hunter. So why do you take a Kendall Hunter over DeMarco Murray?
Right.
So he saw something that says, okay, he fits better into our scheme than this guy over here.
Than this guy does.
And it's all about, and Jerry knows just as well as I do, it's about chemistry.
Yeah.
If you don't have good chemistry in the locker room, you could have the greatest team on paper.
Right.
And you may not win a game.
Right. You got to take care of that locker room, and it goes back to what we were saying about knowing the type of player that you want, not only the athletic ability but the personality for who you want. Mark, that was good stuff on our team. Do we have any more slides, or is that?
No, I think that's enough for now.
There's no more slides.
Oh no, I could,
do you have any
make
home
some
movies from home or anything?
Pass rush.
What?
Pass
rush. No, that's not.
Oh gosh, I would. Oh,
Jimmy, Chris,
holy
you would have
moly! I
died.
would have thought that would have been for sure.
If you look at from when Mike Nolan was there, Singletary, and now Coach Harbaugh, Trent Baalke, the 1 year that they really kind of have a snafu as far as draft goes is the 08 draft. There's only one guy left.
From the 08 draft?
Larry Grant. And the thing is, they released Grant and brought him back.
Right.
But if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have anybody, because they took Ballmer in the first round.
Right.
And they took Shiloh in the second.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
I forgot about him.
But, just to kind of tie a bow around this, and I'll be the first to stick my hand in the air, when they traded up to take Colin Kaepernick, I thought, I think this might be a mistake. And then I thought last year when they took LaMichael James, I thought we already had that player in Kendall Hunter. But speed was the one thing they didn't have, and he sure brings that element to this team.
But you always look at it this way, too. Okay, you have a Frank Gore.
Yeah.
Okay, but Frank has played for how long now?
8th year,
okay,
I believe. Yeah.
Exactly. So the wear and tear starts.
Yep.
So you always want to look to have a replacement.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You want to have that surplus.
Right.
I think they liked him as a kick returner too. So.
Oh yeah. He can do so many things in a game. So.
Well, the point I think of this whole exercise is that I think the 49ers are in good hands in terms of the management of the team, and especially the drafting, because to me, the drafting is the lifeblood. That's it. And that's the one thing that I thought Bill had was, I think he was the best judge of talent ever. The guy could just spot it.
I agree completely. And then you don't mention it, that needs to be mentioned. Best offensive and best defensive coordinators probably in the league.
Yeah.
So the coaching staff is a key too. It all starts at the top, ownership.
Yeah.
Works its way down. Right now, things look good.
And great offensive and defensive line coaches as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, then also, too, you got to look at the special teams. Aside from what David Akers is going through, everything else, they're doing a great job. Andy Lee's doing a great job. Brian Jennings been in the league for 13 years.
Yeah.
And
long snapper.
Exactly.
No, that's not it?
No, we got to wrap it. I want to apologize to everybody watching out there. These guys are trying to win this so badly. I'll never do it again.
Jerry Rice.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. When we come back right here on the Niners.
Manti Te'o's girlfriend.
This is like the envelope. There's nothing in there.
Hooked on the Niners is brought to you by
Bay 101 Casino, located at 1801 Bering Drive in San Jose. They can be reached at 408-451-8888 or on the web at bay101.com. Since 1994, Bay 101 Casino.
Badges Cafe. Badges Cafe is located in the heart of Mountain View at 2423 Old Middlefield Way. You can reach Badges Cafe at 650-967-7477 or on the web at www.badges.com. Go Niners! College Plaza Shell. College Plaza Shell, located at 1400 West Hillsdale Boulevard in San Mateo, providing automotive service since 1987. You can reach College Plaza Shell at 650-573-7959. That's 650-573-7959.
Psst. Hey, need some video work done? We can do that. We do all that video stuff. We can even put your video on that internet thingy. At Peninsula TV, we do full-blown in-studio production, talk shows, performances, speeches, anything. Remote multi-camera production, on location, at your event. And for the budget-minded, single camcorder production in high definition. We'll take your video project from first idea to finished product. For more info, contact Peninsula TV.
Will you stop? Welcome back to Hooked on the Niners. I've just been chastised because coming up a little bit, not too far from now, I'm going to ask these guys to give scores, and they're saying that I always give a ridiculous score, which makes the what, would you say?
Exercise irrelevant.
The exercise irrelevant.
Or you give none.
Or I give none, yeah.
Okay.
But this week, I promise I'm going to be serious.
Well,
I've thought long and hard about this, and I'm going to give a score. Before we go any farther, for the last game the 49ers played, I almost said last week, the Atlanta game, we asked for scores, and Jerry hit it right on the nose, 28-24.
Maybe.
So here, have a balloon.
We'll see what happens this week.
Yeah. All right. This is it. This is the big game. Before we well, why don't we start with breaking it down? How do you see it, Jerry?
These two teams are mirror images. Mirror images. Did I steal?
No, that's right.
Is that the word, mirror image? No.
Yeah.
Really?
Very close.
You're teasing me with it, really, right?
No, I don't see them as mirror images.
Tell
at
me
all.
the best linebacking groups in the league. Well, the
49ers
AFC, I
by
would say the
far
Ravens.
over anybody.
49ers, well, I'd say the 49ers in the AFC. They're built, it's almost like the same person built them. Now, you talk about giving credit to Dick Nolan. I think we can give credit to Jack Harbaugh for supplying Jim and John Harbaugh.
Right.
But yeah, mirror images.
Harbaugh.
They both like to run. They both play violent defense.
Yeah.
They both can be beaten on big plays.
Yep.
Right.
They both can make those big plays.
Right.
This could be a heck of a matchup.
It could be.
Let me just back up. I think of the 5 Super Bowls the teams played in, this being the 6th, this is the most formidable opponent of all, I think.
That's pretty heady stuff. Yeah. Now that I think about it, you may be right.
Yeah.
You may be right.
A lot of similarities. I agree with Jerry. I mean, I think, and emerging similarities. 2 very hot quarterbacks, 2 very good running backs, 2 go-to receivers. The Ravens tight end, Dennis Pitta, has emerged as a very good player. The stud defensive lineman, Justin Smith and Nata. Equal, awesome linebacking core, strong safety play. And the 2 brothers coaching, I think they are kind of looking across each other and saying, we're playing each other.
I think the only thing where I disagree is I don't think Baltimore has a real tough stud wide receiver. There's not a real tough guy there.
Oh, Anquan Boldin? you lost your mind? Have you lost your...
He is off the charts.
Oh,
Remember when he played with a broken jaw?
Yeah.
Broken face.
Yeah.
His face moved.
Let's bring in another host.
Yeah.
From the bullpen, bring in the right hander.
What's that terminology about making it irrelevant?
Yeah, exactly.
No, he just amazes me. He amazes me. He and Ray Rice worry me a little bit.
Well,
defensively, I will just throw this at you. I am noticing Ray Lewis is making a lot of tackles, but he's making them about 5 yards down the field further from where he used to make them.
But look at this too. I mean, it's Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis could be 10 feet away from a tackle, and as long as he's in the vicinity, they say, okay, he gets an assist.
Okay.
Right.
The reputation.
Yeah. But if you look at it too, that he's lost a few steps, and I think the Niners are going to take advantage of that. I really do.
I think so too. I think so too. It's the old Vince Lombardi thing. What's the strength of the other team's defense? This guy. That's who we're going after.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you defeat him, it demoralized everybody else and made you feel good about yourself.
That was relevant.
Yeah, that actually wasn't half bad. That was pretty good, huh, guys? Yeah, they got nothing from the crew.
But here's where Baltimore has the advantage, and we all know this.
Okay. Oh.
The kicking game.
Oh, yeah, you had to bring that up.
Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
He's good. He's really
From
good.
the University
of
Texas.
Did you say Texas?
Yes.
Oh.
Longhorns.
DBU.
But
kicker,
but there's no doubt in my mind that our kicker will be perfect.
Really?
Seriously. If called upon,
now,
he will
but think about this, though. Okay? If you've got a 4th and 1 on 35, it makes them think again. Do we go for this, or do we kick the field goal?
Well, for me, sitting at home with a clicker, right? That, to me, that's good because they'll go for it, and that's what I want every time. If I was a coach, I'd go for it every single time. I haven't seen the statistics on it, but trying a field goal and giving it from the spot where it's kicked is no good. The miss is no good. The make is obviously good. Right. I'd rather go for it.
I think the other thing that the Ravens have in their court now, which they have not had most of the year, is Jim Caldwell. They've got kind of 2 head coaches now. You might argue the 49ers have 3 head coaches, but bringing him on the scene in week 15, right, has really seemed to make an impact on this team. And he's a savvy guy, and I think guys respect him. So maybe the coaching equality is
See, and that's where I have to disagree with you, because the thing is, I mean, I like Caldwell, don't get me wrong, but he's still using the same scheme that Cam Cameron had. And Cam Cameron said it best. He goes, it was genius that he fired me, because now everybody's looking in the mirror and everybody's thinking, oh my God.
Yeah,
I could get fired too. So it pushed him up a level.
Maybe you play better for one guy. I don't know that. You guys would know better than I. I don't know.
There's guys that just get it out. And I think Harbaugh's one of those, our Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Well, the other one too.
Yeah.
But I think Jim, he's ours. He's a little out there. But he is.
He's really out there.
He really is out there. But he's the guy I'd want coaching my team, because that's what he's obsessed about. And he gets guys to do it. They say that he never really, chastises a guy out in front of anybody. He just doesn't do that. And I like that.
You know who else used to do that?
Who?
Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
Bill Walsh would yell at his assistant coach to get that player's attention. He would never pick out a player.
Yeah. All right, we had talked before the show that we were going to all try to pick a guy that would play, kind of like an unheralded guy. When I say unheralded, I mean not a star, but who do you think is going to make a difference in this game, Jim?
David Akers.
Oh, boy.
Do you really? You think he's going to...
I think that he will be perfect. I think if called upon, and I think there'll be some second thoughts like, do we go for it here? Or do we attempt a field goal? David Akers.
Okay.
Well, I put two guys on my list, and he was one of them. But the other guy who I think
he was cheating and looking.
To me, the other guy who plays a lot and will play in this game, who I think plays a little dangerously, is Chris Culliver.
Yeah.
And he's going to play.
Yeah.
And he's the kind of guy who's a chance taker, and he's the guy who can step in front of you, take a ball, and bring it the other way.
Right.
He's also the guy who can be looking at some guy's numbers when he's behind him. So I think Culliver's got to have a good game as the fifth DB, because they will play that a lot, I think. Yeah. And to me, he's a pivotal player in this game. I agree, David Akers certainly is, without question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll go on a limb, and I will say it's going to be Delaney Walker.
Say
That was my second choice.
And the reason why is because he is so athletic, and you can put him in different positions. So if you've got, you say you got a Ray Lewis or whomever guarding Vernon, you got Delaney, put Delaney on the other side.
Right.
That takes away from everything else.
It does.
Gives him some great opportunities.
It does.
So.
I'm going to go with Colin Kaepernick.
Okay, wait. Did we say stars?
Are we talking Super Bowl MVP or key to the game?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to take LaMichael James. For some reason, I just think there's like a 40 or 50 yard run in this guy that's going to absolutely stun Baltimore. And another guy that I think is going to play a pivotal part, to being serious, is Bruce Miller. Yes. I think this guy is an absolute stud. He's unheralded, doesn't get the credit that he wants. I'm hoping, that at some point the 49ers are way ahead and are able to give him a ball to get a touchdown in a Super Bowl. I think that would be a great thing for him. He is really worth the price of admission. Okay, how about let me throw you this change up in the dirt 0-2. What do you worry about? What's the one thing about this game that kind of worries you a little bit?
We're on the table again?
Yeah.
David Akers.
I knew that was coming.
I'm telling you, he's looking at the lower right-hand side of your paper. Really, it could be. Either way.
No, I actually worry about, I love the 49ers defensive backs.
Yeah.
I worry about our defensive backs getting burned in this game.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I agree. I think the other thing that worries me a little is Kaepernick has shown that he can play at a big stage with this very calm demeanor and resiliency. This is the Super Bowl. This is the big one. This is the big game. Will he be able to maintain that composure on that stage? I hope he does. But I'll tell you, you've done 4 of these. I can't even imagine what it's like trotting out that tunnel and knowing what's on the line in a game like this, especially for a rookie.
2 things that make you feel better.
Good.
Joe Montana was 25 in Super Bowl 16, his first Super Bowl. And I heard Kaepernick on the radio ask him if he was being nervous, if there's anything to be nervous about. He said, no, if you prepare properly, you don't get nervous.
Right.
You just have to go out there and perform.
Makes me feel
I think
better.
he said he's been preparing for this his whole life.
Tattoo.
Yeah, no, not
Good one. Very good one.
Good guess.
Turlock.
Good guess. You guys are all around it, though.
Turlock.
You guys are all around it. Now, the thing that would worry me, The thing that I worry a little bit about is Baltimore has a very good offensive line as well.
Oh, yeah.
They are very, very good. They
with Matt Burke and Michael Orr. And,
when they moved Orr over to the right side,
Brand
and I guess McKinley went back to the left side. McKinney. And Marshall Yonda is just absolutely fabulous. Burke is in his 400th year or something or whatever
and
it is.
you don't think these teams
from Minnesota.
What didn't he understand about mirror image?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Offensive line.
You know, here's the two players for Baltimore that worry me is Pierce.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
the second back.
Exactly. And I think they're going to utilize him quite a bit.
Bigger, taller, faster.
Yeah. But
Pitta's playing good.
Pitta worries me because look what Tony Gonzalez did against our linebackers. Pitta's faster and younger. So that worries me.
Again, a mirror image.
A mirror image.
Tight ends.
Yeah. Which brings us back to how this team was put together. In the last segment, when you look at these two teams with the good offensive liners and good defensive lines, you would almost wonder why teams in the NFL don't have a practice of, in your first 2 rounds of the draft every year, take either an offensive or a defensive lineman. Just do it.
I think if you look at the successful teams, how they were built, I think you're going to find that to be true.
Yeah.
No, and you're right. But sometimes you have to look at the year. Who's coming out, But there's so many offensive linemen who are drafted in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
And they develop them over the years.
Right.
And they've done very, very well.
Okay.
So.
All right, we're almost at 2 minutes.
Art Modell.
Let's get a prediction. What do you guys think?
Niners.
Okay. I think we all agree that, right?
Yes.
Right.
Got to.
Okay. All right. So it's all Niners.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, 2 minutes.
I'm going to say 14-11.
14-11.
Really?
Safety involved or
No.
a missed?
The team that wins with the 14
14-11.
going to be leading late, and the other team's going to try a 2-point conversion. I don't know.
Look at that.
Wow.
Really?
Nice.
If that happens.
Okay, 14. Honest to God, if that does happen, I'll give you the envelope, the hats, the balloons. Okay.
His firstborn, whatever.
I just don't see this being a high-scoring game, with no, I just don't.
Okay.
And clearly, it's been said a million times, it's who's going to make the least mistakes, So you got to stay away from that. It killed Atlanta last week when they were ahead. I like the 49ers 20-17.
20-17.
Help us, David Akers, please.
Okay. All right. Terrell?
24-21.
24-21. That close, huh?
Yep.
Okay. And what, late touchdown or?
It's going to be a late field goal.
Okay.
But it's going to be within 15 yards.
Okay, within 15 yards. Okay. And I'm going to say
Here we go again.
Now, I'm going to say the 49ers 30 and the Baltimore Ravens 20.
I'll take it.
I think we can score on them. I think we're going to expose why Ray Lewis is retiring, and why Ed Reed probably should and head up to New England after this to help them with their backfield problems. So I think 30-20, the 49ers will be the Super Bowl champs. All right, we got just 30 seconds left, guys. Can't thank you enough.
Thanks for having me.
Always good to see you, my man.
Appreciate it.
Guys,
Archie
it's
Manning.
our last show. We'll see you
AJ
next
Jenkins.
Give us a hint on the tickets.
No. I'm just going to tell you. Now we had money here and we had a ticket. Unfortunately, the tickets to the AT&T golf tournament,
Archie Manning.
not the Super Bowl, but the secret word was
Just a hint.
xylophone. Xylophone.
Good Lord.
If any of the guys had said,
Are you kidding?
No, xylophone. Notice how the red, the I, the A. Xylophone was the secret word. All right. Thank you very much for watching us all year. Look for us during the off season. We may have a little show about the draft, and we may redo some of the interviews we've had with guests in the past.
Xylophone.
Right here on Hooked on the Niners. See you later. Go Niners.
Xylophone.